We're here in the Press of Atlantic City editorial boardroom, where a month ago the candidates for Atlantic City mayor sat in these chairs, discussing what they would do if they were elected into office. As Press of Atlantic City reporter Eric Scott Campbell tells us, one of those candidates probably didn't even need to do anything at all. Let's talk about the candidates that are running for Atlantic City mayor.
All right, well, we've got Lorenzo Langford, the incumbent mayor. He's the Democratic candidate, obviously, won in 2001. Other Democrats conspired to have him defeated in the Democratic primary in 2005 when he ran for re-election. And then when Bob Levy didn't complete his term, Langford won the special election last year for a one-year term to complete that, and now obviously is running for another four-year term. Jesse Kurtz is the Republican candidate, and Dennis Mason, a Democratic councilman, is running as an independent, as is former six-time candidate Joseph Palillo.
This is a city that's really going through some tough times and struggling. The economy's struggling, the casino industry struggling. Do you think that any of these candidates have the plans in place that could return the city to prominence?
I think the person who is most easily positioned to change things in the city or to take it in whatever direction he wants would be Langford, because he's so familiar with the system, has been in power before, is in power now, could do things more quickly than some of the others could. He would have more support probably on the council. He has the council president, William Speedy Marsh, is solidly in his corner. It would just be easier for Langford to do things than it would be for the other candidates.
There are two sides to this equation. On the one hand, we have to look at increasing revenues, and on the other hand, we have to look at ways to try and cut expenses. There's no question about that. That's how you try to get to a happy medium. He
told me he probably could win without spending any money, but this may not be the last election for Lorenzo Langford. He's trying to build up his brand, and he wanted to run this as a legitimate race, and he's not spending as much money as he's spent in past general elections, certainly not as much as in past primary elections, which are the more competitive races, but he wants to just keep maintaining his image as a polished politician who can win any races that you throw at him.
November 3rd at the victory party, should I win, you're all invited. And if I don't win, we're going to have a victory party anyway. You're still all invited.
If you want to find Chris Daggett, the independent candidate for governor on the Atlantic County ballot, you might want to get a magnifying glass. Check this out. Column A, Chris Christie. Column B, John Corzine. All these other people are independent candidates. In Chris Daggett's name, column G, row 2. All the independent candidates were put into a lottery, and that's why Daggett drew the last spot. But now it's time to put this election under the magnifying glass and head to Richard Stockton College to find out why one expert says this election could be ruining democracy.
We say all the time that you should always look at and see if you're better off than you were 4 years ago. Well, we know that people are generally not better off than 4 years ago. The whole United States economy, the whole world economy. So what do we look at today? We can only look at what the promise is, and we have to be able to buy into the promise as being viable for us.
This is Sharon Shulman. She's the executive director of the William J. Hughes Center for Public Policy at Richard Stockton College. Sharon has been a part of elections for about 20 years. She says this campaign season has been incredible.
We've seen a third-party candidate who used to be a major party person suddenly take off. We have a governor that people were looking for a reason not to vote for, but they haven't found an alternative. The Republican candidate didn't give enough of a picture of what he wanted to do, so he's not making with people. And I don't think, regardless of what all of our polls say, that any of us know for sure what's going to happen on Election Day.
Do you think that this campaign has been increasingly bitter? Do you think this has been more bitter than we're used to? And is this something that we should get used to? Is this like the next thing now, or that we're going to just attack each other?
This campaign has been mired down in attacks that didn't really focus on issues. That's not good. there's been a lack of civility that translates into the way we operate government. It's the way people get attention. Think about it. If you're in Congress or you're in the legislature, what's going to get you on YouTube? What's going to get you on Facebook? And what's going to get you on television? You got to do some sort of antic to create attention. The traditional press release that just says things isn't the way to go anymore. And so I'm afraid we're going to see more and more of this. What concerns me the most is that the more that we lack civility in our campaigns, the more risk we have of hurting democracy, because people will get turned off and not come out to vote. So do negative campaigns work? Frequently they do. There are sometimes that it's a backlash. We've seen that happen. It's both ways. I've seen studies, we looked at that last year, we've seen studies worldwide that go in each direction. The bigger concern for me is not whether that campaign works, but whether we're going to be turning off the electorate. And by turning off the electorate, we hurt democracy.
We are back at the Press of Atlantic City newsroom, sitting at the microfilm reader. A tense but exciting election day is upon us, as we wait to see who the winners of the state and local races are going to be. Wouldn't it be great if you could just cut to the chase, load the film, fast forward, and find out who won this election? If only it were that simple. But instead, we're going to have to wait long into the night to find out the winners of the state and local races. In the meantime, check out this website, www.pressofatlanticcity.com. And make sure to pick up a copy of tomorrow's newspaper for a recap of all the races. And a day from now, we'll have another front page to add to the archives. Well, that's going to do it for this 2009 election special. For the Press, I'm Dan Good.